Once you've named your site, put in site categories, and if you want a site description, here's where the sharing comes into feature. If you're in a school domain, it'll default usually to everyone in Adams 12. You also can do only people I can specify to view this website, or also let anyone in the world view this site. So you've got a couple choices. You could do everyone in Adams 12, only people I specify, or anyone in the world makes it public. It also says also let anyone in the world view this site. So I don't quite understand why you can do both, but those are your choices. So I'm just going to make it public. And then you just hit create site. If you're in just a Gmail account, what you basically will see here is everyone in the world or only people I specify in the site. Those will be your choices. And like I said, hit create site, and it's even telling me it's creating my site. And then you're done and ready to go. Let's get busy formatting and customizing your site. Once you create site, this is what will appear. And I had a little problem with my original site, so I had to do practice again. Now, remember I talked about how the name of your site is important? Whatever name you put in will automatically appear as your site title. Now, I put practice again as one word, which kind of looks silly, and I don't really want it up there. So remember, put spaces or dashes for placeholders. Now, you may not want your site to look like this. You may not want a title up here. The title is nice because it is also a link to your homepage, but this can be easily removed if you don't want a title because maybe you're going to put a logo or something and it would be redundant. And so you can hide this. You need to go into the more actions, the more button. Now, if you're on a page and you don't see more, then you're probably in edit mode. The pencil is for edit. This page is for a new page. And when you're in edit mode, watch what happens. Your screen's going to look different. You do not have edit. You have save, and you do not have more. And you'll notice you have your formatting toolbar. So if you want to do something in more, make sure you see save or cancel. You hit save if you want to save, and then more. It's the more actions menu. So to get rid of the title showing up on every single page, because it'll appear every single page that you create. Watch, if I create a new page, and I name my page list page, and I'll be playing with that later. When it creates the page, see, list page, practice again is up there. So if I don't want it up there, I can save my list page. Go to more. This more is going to be your friend. When you can't find things in the regular formatting, you're going to want to look in more. So we're going to go to more, and we're going to go to manage site. Under manage site, we're going to go to general. We're going to be looking at all these different things throughout this class, but right now we're going to go to general. Here it is, site name. Show site on the top of the pages. You don't want it there? Uncheck. Here's also an important thing under general and more. Here's where you can add site categories. Like I told you, you're not stuck with anything. You can change it. Site categories. I spelled this wrong. Add a site subscription. All the different things. You can enable Google Analytics, which we'll get into another time. And basically most of this stuff down here you don't even need to deal with. Okay? Oh, but here, if you think people are going to be using your site on mobile phones, automatically adjust to mobile phones. Okay? And here's some other things. Access settings. Users who can access site activities. Users who can cite revision history. These are all under general. You might not care about any of them. Also, if I wanted the site name to change and get rid of the space, I could put it here. If I wanted to show the site at the top of the page, this will not change the URL of the website. It will just change what appears at the top of the page. I'll show you that. I go back to practice again, and notice practice again is now here with the space. I don't want it to appear there. I can go back to manage site and not show it. Remember, click save. And how you get back to your site is by clicking on the name of the site over here. and it'll take you back to your site. All gone. When I created this website, I did not choose a theme, and it's pretty boring right now. So if I want to go choose a theme after creating a website, have no fear, you can do that as well. Once again, that More button. And once again, down to Manage Site. You're going to be doing a lot of this. Once you go to More, Manage Site, you're going to scroll down and you will see Themes. Now remember, if you pick a theme, it will change colors of fonts and fonts for you as well. Themes, if you made specific changes to folder colors and fonts, just say you're in the middle of working on the project, those ones will be discarded for the new theme, okay? Not that you can't go back in and change it after, but if you change something in the middle, change a theme, it's going to change everything that you have. So I'm just going to pick Slate. You've got all these different features, different fonts. Well, you know what? Let's pick Glitter. Glitter is kind of fun. And then you just click, you can click Preview if you want to see what it's going to look like. That's what it's going to look like. And like I said, you still could change colors of things after you pick the theme. So I'm going to pick Glitter. You know what? I'm not in the mood for glitter. Let's look at Retro Paint. Click on Retro Paint for the preview. Kind of like the Retro Paint, and I'm going to save. And it's as simple as that, picking a theme. Go back to your site. Right here's the name of my site. I go back. It's now Retro Paint. Remember, that was More, Manage Site, and then Themes. Let's talk a little bit about the site layout. It has 4 elements main to a page of your layout. This is the header. This is where your site title and logo appear, and it applies to all the pages within your site. So remember how I hid that? I brought it back up for the purpose of this part of the lesson. The sidebar is over here, where you can add navigation and links and additional information via text boxes. And it applies to all the pages in the site. So here, all pages to the site. Up here, all pages to the site. The page content, which is the body part in here, this is where individual page content appears, and it will differ on every page. I'm not thrilled by the white background. We can change that. And then the footer is where all the Google-specific site links appear, these guys down here. You cannot modify this. This will appear on all the pages, so this cannot be changed. This is individual pages, this appears on every page, and this appears on every page. You can modify sizes of the header and the sidebar, the widths. And once again, that's under More. Once again, Manage Sites. And all the things you want to do in site layout are underneath the term site layout. So here's where you can change your site layout. So if you wanted to change different things, like you wanted the width to change, you wanted the header height. If you put in a logo, you can put a logo size. If you want to change the alignment of the header, you can change the alignment of the header. If you do a horizontal navigation bar, you can check that off here, and we'll talk more about navigation later. You can move the sidebar, which is this thing on the side, to the left or the right and make it wider. Now, I'm not familiar with how big a pixel is. You kind of just have to play with it. And if you want to add a footer of your own determining, you could stick a footer in here. So these are all the different things you can do to change your site. Do not forget to save and go back to practice again. And see, my sidebar is now on this side, and look, I started with the navigation, the horizontal navigation that I talked about, which we'll get into later. Another thing you can do to customize your site is change the site header and make it a logo. You have to have a logo created, an image that you want to use. Once again, we're going back to More. We're going to Manage Site. And we're going to Site Layout. See how it's kind of making sense? Under Site Layout, see right here, Header, Change Logo. So default domain we'll show you is the default domain Adams 12. That's going to be in the upper corner. If for some reason you want to change it, custom logo, you could go to Browse, and hopefully it's going to take me somewhere. I'm just going to use one of the sample pictures. If you have a logo created, make sure you know where it's kept. So I'm just going to put in this koala bear. You could also say no logo, so if you want the Adams 12 5-star schools, if you have a logo chosen because you're in a certain school's domain, you could no logo it. If I click OK, I can click preview to see what it's going to look like. So we preview it, and my koala bear was huge. So you have to make sure you have the size that you want. Otherwise, it could be really huge and it's going to look really silly. So one thing you can do is under header, it said change logo and use logo size. When you go into site layout and change site layout, you can say for the header, not use logo size. You can say, okay, I want to use theme default value. Now that's going to cut off part of my header, but that's actually okay. So let's just see it again. We'll change my logo. It's got my custom logo still there. Let's see what it does when I hit preview, which is the beauty of preview. Oh, it's still huge. So find a smaller picture. And I don't feel like finding a smaller picture right there. But you can change logo here. I'm going to show you what it's going to look like with no logo. Preview it. Now the logo is gone. Remember, the logo was over here. Okay, that Adams 12 logo. So that's what it's going to look like with no logo. And if you decide to do a logo, make sure that here's the logo, but make sure if you don't want your logo is an appropriate size. We're going to get into more information about the sidebar, but you can do some basic things to the sidebar. What it's naturally showing you right now are the pages that are created. The home page was created by default. That list page was another page I created. And a sitemap you can use to show you basically when we talked about the hierarchy of the whole page. That practice again is the site, and so far these are parent pages, just so you know. You can also edit the sidebar a couple things. It's under site layout as well. We've already been in here, but we didn't look at the sidebar. You can delete it if you don't want one there at all. So if I delete it and hit preview, you'll be able to see what it looks like without the sidebar. It's gone. When a person comes to view it, you won't even see the words edit sidebar. So if you're going to do your navigation somewhere else, like with tabs across, buttons across, and you don't want to use the sidebar for gadgets or anything else, you can completely get rid of it. Now I don't want to completely get rid of mine, so I'm going to cancel that and go back to edit my sidebar. I didn't save it, so that was good. Now I can edit. You can change the title of it. Notice display title is by default gone. So if you start using your sidebar for something else like important gadgets, look here for whatever, you can title it something different. And remember, you can always change it. We're going to get into this part later with navigation, and you can add you can get rid of the sitemap if you don't want people to see it, and you could have recent site activity as a link as well. So you can also add the width of it if you want. Here's what it looks like now. In preview mode, I spelled it wrong, title, but now it added recent site activity and sitemap as choices. So I'm going to go in and get rid of that and uncheck display title, which is by default unchecked. And that's basically what you're going to do with the sitemap for now. We'll go more into navigation right next, I think.